Welcome to Rare Breed Brotherhood. Power lies not in what you show, but in what you conceal. Sigmas are a rare breed, individuals who thrive outside the spotlight, navigating life with precision, independence, and an unmatched ability to adapt. They don't follow the crowd, chase validation, or try to dominate others. Instead, they carve their own path, mastering skills and traits that most people never notice until it's too late. What makes Sigmas truly dangerous, though, isn't their intelligence, confidence, or quiet strength. It's the one trait no one sees coming. This trait, often overlooked and misunderstood, gives them an edge in life, relationships, and competition. It's not loud or flashy, but its impact is undeniable, leaving those who encounter it intrigued, intimidated, or even outmaneuvered. If you've ever felt different, like the rules everyone else plays by don't apply to you, this might be your calling card as a Sigma. In this video, we'll break down what this trait is, why it sets you apart, and how to harness it. Watch closely. This could change everything. Number 1, they resist authority, not out of rebellion, but for control. Sigmas don't resist authority out of defiance or a need to prove a point. It's not rebellion for rebellion's sake, nor is it fueled by ego. Their resistance stems from something deeper, a relentless drive to protect their independence and maintain control over their own lives. Sigmas understand that most systems of authority, whether in the workplace, society, or personal relationships, exist to enforce conformity and limit individuality. This goes against their core belief that freedom in thought and action is non-negotiable. While others might challenge authority loudly, making a spectacle of their defiance, Sigmas take a subtler approach. They observe from the sidelines, studying hierarchies with precision. They see the flaws, the cracks in the structure, and they quietly figure out how to maneuver within or around it. Their goal isn't to climb the ladder or dominate the system. It's to make the system irrelevant to their personal choices. What makes this trait so dangerous is their ability to dismantle control structures without drawing attention to themselves. They don't fight authority head-on. They undermine it in ways that are almost invisible. They question rules that others blindly follow, but not loudly enough to attract resistance. And when the moment comes, they can either step outside the system entirely or reshape it to serve their goals. This mindset isn't about chaos or anarchy, it's about mastery of themselves, their environments, and their decisions. Sigmas know that control over their own life is the ultimate form of power. Their quiet subversion leaves those who depend on authority confused and unprepared, making Sigmas not only unpredictable but also impossible to control. For them, the only acceptable authority is the one they choose to acknowledge, and even then it's conditional. Number 2, their minds are like an underground network. A Sigma's mind operates on a level most people can't grasp. It's not the kind of thinking that follows a straight path or sticks to the obvious. Instead, their thoughts are like an underground network, complex, interconnected, and completely hidden from plain sight. On the surface, they may appear calm or even detached, but beneath that exterior, their minds are weaving together ideas, observations, and strategies in ways that defy traditional logic. They don't just see the immediate problem or opportunity in front of them. They see the unseen connections, the ripple effects, and the hidden patterns that others miss entirely. This ability to think beyond the obvious isn't accidental. It's the result of their constant observation and deep understanding of how the world works. They aren't limited by conventional wisdom or the fear of stepping outside the norm. Their ideas flow freely, linking seemingly unrelated concepts into strategies that catch everyone else off guard. This mental agility makes them exceptionally dangerous in competitive or high-stakes situations. While others rely on predictable tactics or follow well-worn paths, Sigmas thrive in unpredictability. They know how to adapt, adjust, and strike when no one expects it. This intellectual stealth is what sets them apart. It's as if they're always 3 moves ahead, playing a different game entirely. Sigmas don't need to broadcast their thoughts or seek validation for their ideas. They operate in the shadows, using their mental network to navigate challenges and opportunities with precision. This is why they're so hard to pin down or outsmart. Their minds are their greatest weapon, vast, silent, and unstoppable, capable of dismantling assumptions and rewriting the rules without anyone realizing until it's already done. And number 3, They can mirror you, then outsmart you. Sigmas possess a unique ability to mirror others with precision. They can mimic your behavior, speech patterns, or emotional responses so seamlessly that you hardly notice it's happening. This isn't an act of flattery or manipulation for manipulation's sake, it's a strategy. By blending in and reflecting what others expect to see, Sigmas gain access to deeper insights about the people around them. But they don't stop at simple imitation. While they're mirroring you, they're also analyzing you. Every word, every reaction, every subtle cue is a piece of data they file away. They're mapping your thought processes, uncovering your habits, and pinpointing your strengths and weaknesses. Over time, this makes them incredibly difficult to outmaneuver because they understand you better than you understand yourself. What makes this trait so dangerous is their patience. Sigmas aren't impulsive, they're deliberate. They'll study you for as long as it takes to understand your patterns, and by the time you think you're on equal footing, they've already predicted your next move. It's like playing chess against someone who has the board memorized 3 turns ahead. This skill isn't about malice, it's about strategy and survival. In a world where authenticity often feels secondary to appearances, Sigmas adapt to their environment by becoming what the moment requires. They know how to disarm people with familiarity and use that trust to their advantage when necessary. Being mirrored by a Sigma feels natural because they're masters of subtlety. But it's only later, when you realize how far ahead they were all along, that you see the full scope of their brilliance. They don't just play the game, they rewrite the rules, making them the ultimate psychological strategists. Number 4, they're silent but relentless predators of opportunity. Sigmas are the kind of people you rarely see coming. They don't make noise, they don't crave the spotlight, and they certainly don't advertise their intentions. While others rush to be seen and heard, Sigmas sit back, watching and waiting. This isn't passivity, it's precision. They observe the chaos, studying every move, every weakness, and every gap that others overlook. Their quiet nature often leads people to underestimate them, mistaking silence for inaction. But what many fail to realize is that this stillness is calculated. Sigmas don't waste energy on unnecessary battles or fruitless pursuits. Instead, they conserve their focus, scanning the horizon for opportunities others miss or dismiss. And when the time comes, they strike, not impulsively, but with a precision that leaves everyone else scrambling to catch up. What makes them so dangerous is their ability to remain unnoticed until it's too late. Competitors focus on louder, more visible threats only to be blindsided by the Sigma who has already positioned themselves ahead. They don't need applause or recognition. Their satisfaction comes from the results. This relentlessness isn't about being ruthless, it's about being purposeful. Every move a Sigma makes is intentional, guided by their ability to see the bigger picture. They don't chase after every opportunity, they wait for the ones that matter, and then pursue them with unwavering focus. In a world where people mistake volume for strength, Sigmas prove that true power lies in silence, observation, and timing. Their quiet determination makes them unpredictable, and their ability to move without detection makes them nearly impossible to stop. By the time others realize what's happening, the Sigma has already claimed the prize and moved on, leaving their competitors in stunned disbelief. Number 5, their emotions are controlled, not suppressed. A Sigma male is not emotionless, far from it. He feels everything, but unlike most people, he refuses to let those feelings control him. His emotions are not suppressed or ignored, they are managed with precision, like a switch that can be turned on or off depending on the situation. This level of control doesn't mean he is cold or detached. It means he has mastered the ability to process his emotions internally without letting them cloud his judgment or expose his vulnerabilities. This emotional discipline gives Sigmas an incredible advantage, especially in high-stakes situations where others might crumble under pressure, lash out in anger, or make impulsive decisions driven by fear or excitement. The Sigma remains composed. He understands the power of emotions but refuses to be ruled by them. Instead, he channels them when and where they serve him best, turning frustration into focus, pain into resilience, and passion into a quiet but unstoppable drive. What makes this trait so dangerous is how unpredictable it makes him to others. People are used to reading emotions as a way to gauge intent or gain leverage. But with a Sigma, there are no tells, no outbursts, no emotional weaknesses to exploit. He operates on his own terms, making him an enigma to both allies and adversaries alike. By mastering this balance between feeling and control, the Sigma becomes immune to manipulation. No amount of provocation can unsettle him, and no emotional appeal can derail his focus. He knows exactly when to lean into his emotions and when to pull back, making him a psychological fortress. This combination of self-awareness and restraint not only sets him apart, but also gives him a level of inner strength that is virtually unshakable, leaving those around him both intrigued and powerless to predict his next move. Number 6, they absorb, adapt, and advance silently. Sigmas have an uncanny ability to take in everything around them without making a sound. They don't waste energy trying to prove themselves or compete for attention. Instead, they observe, absorb, and learn. Every conversation, every interaction, and every situation becomes a source of knowledge they quietly process. They soak up details that others overlook, patterns, behaviors, dynamics, turning those insights into a deep understanding of their environment. This ability to absorb information makes them highly adaptable. Whether they're thrown into unfamiliar territory or confronted with unexpected challenges, Sigmas adjust with ease. They don't panic or resist change, they evolve in real time. This flexibility allows them to thrive in situations where others might falter or cling to outdated approaches. What makes this trait so powerful is how silent it is. While others are busy making noise about their progress or struggles, Sigmas keep their growth under the radar. They don't announce their plans or flaunt their moves. Instead, they work quietly, refining their skills, strengthening their strategies, and positioning themselves for success. By the time anyone notices what they've been doing, they've already made significant strides. When a Sigma finally acts, it's often a surprise to those around them. Their progress seems effortless, almost invincible, because no one witnessed the meticulous preparation that went into it. But this isn't magic or luck, it's the result of their relentless ability to absorb, adapt, and advance while staying entirely off the radar. This quiet evolution not only sets Sigmas apart, but also gives them a strategic edge. They move at their own pace, outpacing others without the burden of scrutiny or distraction. By the time the world catches on, they've already advanced far beyond what anyone thought possible, leaving others to wonder how they did it. Number 7. They thrive in power vacuums. Sigmas excel in situations where most people falter. When chaos erupts and the usual power structures collapse, they don't panic or scramble for direction. Instead, they quietly rise to the occasion, stepping into roles others are too overwhelmed or indecisive to handle. Unlike traditional leaders who rely on hierarchy or authority, Sigmas lead with subtlety and effectiveness. They don't demand control. They simply earn it by being the calm, composed force others gravitate toward in times of uncertainty. What sets them apart is their independence and adaptability. Sigmas don't rely on external validation or a pre-existing system to guide them. They assess the situation, identify what needs to be done, and take action. Their ability to think clearly under pressure and adapt to rapidly changing circumstances gives them a unique advantage in power vacuums. While others are stuck waiting for orders or clinging to broken structures, Sigmas chart a new path forward. Their leadership style is subtle but impactful. They don't dominate or seek the spotlight, which makes them less threatening to those around them. Instead, they lead by example, inspiring trust and confidence through their actions rather than words. This quiet approach to leadership not only makes them effective, but also harder to challenge. Without overt displays of power, they avoid unnecessary conflicts and resistance, allowing them to focus entirely on getting results. In a power vacuum, Sigmas thrive because they aren't competing for control. They're simply doing what needs to be done. Their ability to stay calm, adapt, and act with purpose sets them apart as natural leaders when traditional ones falter. By the time the dust settles, they've already established themselves as indispensable, leaving others to wonder how they manage to lead without ever seeming to try. Number 8, they leverage the underestimated weapon of silence. In a world where everyone is trying to be the loudest in the room, Sigmas understand the immense power of silence. They don't rush to fill the gaps in conversation or feel the need to broadcast their thoughts. Instead, they sit back, observe, and let others reveal their intentions. Every pause, every quiet moment becomes an opportunity for them to gather valuable information. This deliberate restraint gives them a psychological advantage that most people never see coming. Their silence isn't passivity, it's strategy. By choosing their words carefully and speaking only when necessary, Sigmas create an air of mystery that draws people in. Others find themselves trying to fill the silence, often exposing more than they intended. This allows the Sigma to learn more than they reveal, turning every interaction into a calculated exchange. But their silence does more than just confuse or disarm, it asserts dominance. While others rely on volume or aggression to make their point, Sigmas use their calm presence to command respect. Their quiet confidence speaks louder than any outburst ever could. It forces people to lean in, to pay attention, and to take them seriously without the Sigma having to raise their voice or assert themselves overtly. This mastery of silence makes Sigmas incredibly hard to read. Their lack of unnecessary chatter or emotional outbursts makes it nearly impossible for others to predict their next move. Meanwhile, they are constantly observing, calculating, and staying 10 steps ahead. In a noisy, chaotic world, silence becomes the ultimate weapon. For Sigmas, it's not just about what they say, but what they choose not to say. Their ability to harness silence with such precision makes them both powerful and unpredictable, qualities that leave an indelible mark on everyone they encounter. Number 9, they disarm through authenticity, then strike. Sigmas have a quiet power that comes from something most people don't expect: authenticity. Unlike alphas, who often rely on projecting bravado or force to assert dominance, Sigmas aren't interested in pretending to be something they're not. They present themselves as they truly are, confident in their own skin without the need for external validation or a carefully crafted persona. This level of authenticity is disarming in a world full of facades and masks. When others expect manipulation or posturing, Sigmas simply show up as themselves, and it catches people off guard. This genuine approach creates an unexpected trust. People are drawn to their straightforwardness and can't help but feel comfortable in their presence. Sigmas don't need to impress or sell themselves to gain approval. They make connections based on mutual respect, not power plays or calculated charm. And this trust, once earned, becomes a tool that Sigmas can leverage if and when they choose to. But they aren't naive. Sigmas understand the dynamics at play and know that trust, once established, can be strategically used. They won't manipulate you for the sake of manipulation, but when the time comes, they'll use that trust to get what they need, whether it's information, an advantage, or a position. They strike not out of malice, but out of calculated purpose. What makes this so dangerous is how well Sigmas play the long game. They don't rush into anything. They take their time, build relationships authentically, and wait for the right moment. By the time others realize they've been outmaneuvered, it's too late. They've already used their position to achieve what they set out to do. It's this subtle, patient approach that makes them so formidable. They win not by force, but through the quiet power of being themselves. Number 10. They're masters of ambiguity and disruption. Sigmas are experts in navigating the gray areas where most people feel uncomfortable. They don't fully conform to societal norms, but they don't completely reject them either. Instead, they bend the rules just enough to remain unnoticed while still getting what they want. This ability to operate in ambiguity is what makes them so unpredictable and therefore dangerous. You can't easily label or define a Sigma because they're always a step ahead, moving between order and chaos without ever being fully part of either. Their flexibility in these liminal spaces allows them to thrive in environments where others struggle. While people scramble to fit in or stand out, Sigmas adapt effortlessly, switching between roles and personas depending on the situation. They can blend into a traditional structure when needed, but when the time is right, they're just as comfortable upending it. This fluidity allows them to disrupt and flip the script in ways that seem completely out of nowhere, leaving others scrambling to understand what just happened. What makes this trait so powerful is the element of surprise. No one ever knows exactly where a Sigma stands because they're not bound by traditional expectations. One moment they might be conforming to the rules, and the next they're challenging the very system that once seemed so secure. This unpredictability makes them impossible to control or predict. They're constantly shifting the narrative, making them a force that's not just difficult to outsmart, but impossible to contain. In a world that thrives on certainty and order, Sigmas exist in the margins, using ambiguity as both shield and weapon. Their ability to disrupt at will while staying just within the boundaries of acceptable behavior gives them an edge that others simply can't match. They thrive on the unexpected and are always ready to turn the tide in their favor, often when no one saw it coming. The most dangerous Sigma trait isn't something you flaunt, it's something you own. It's not about being louder, stronger, or more dominant. It's about understanding yourself so deeply that you don't need to prove anything to anyone. This trait is what sets you apart. It's why you don't follow trends, why you question the rules, and why people can't figure you out. And that's your greatest strength, the ability to move through life with quiet purpose and unshakable control. As a Sigma, your power isn't in chasing attention or approval. It's in knowing when to act, when to adapt, and when to stay silent. It's in seeing opportunities others miss and striking when the time is right. It's the balance between being grounded in who you are and flexible enough to thrive in any situation. But this isn't just about strategy. It's about integrity. Being a Sigma means staying true to yourself, even when the world pushes you to conform. It's about using your independence, adaptability, and authenticity to lead your own life on your terms. If this resonates with you, don't ignore it. Lean into it, strengthen it. Use this trait not only to navigate the challenges in your life, but to inspire others who feel like they don't quite fit the mold either. The world needs people who think differently, act intentionally, and refuse to settle for the ordinary. So take this as your call to action. Embrace who you are and let this trait be your compass. Watch the full video and discover how to sharpen this dangerous edge even further. You're not here to follow the rules, you're here to quietly, powerfully rewrite them. Thank you for watching, and God bless.